Welcome to Fortnite Live, everybody. I am Will Kinsler, Community Manager. You can call me Rackzilla. Have the several members of the team here with me today. Got Zach Phelps, Executive Producer, Darren Sugar, Creative Director, and Pete Ellis, Art Director. We are going to be playing some Fortnite today with some members of the community. Also going to show off some things that have been new since the last time we did a stream. So we've got a bunch of stuff going on, and we're excited to show off a little bit more Fortnite. I'm going to jump right into art stuff right away because I know we only have Pete for a few minutes because he's busy making art. Busy making art and meeting about art.
That's right. It never stops. We keep making art.
So we're going to start by kind of talking about that. And so the last time we did the stream, we have some new stuff. One of the big art things right now is that we actually have a new male outlander in the game. So let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
And Pete, can you tell us a little bit about how did we end up with the new male outlander model?
That's awesome, right?
Sure. So we've had a model for him for quite a while, who's one of our old original character models from when we started developing the game. And as we were going through and developing some of the new heroes, we felt like we increased the quality bar quite a bit as we went along. So we felt it was time to kind of refresh this guy, make him feel a little bit more modern, a little more heroic. His old version was a little scrappier and thrown together. He had mismatched shoes and sort of a bunch of dirt and street signs all strapped to him, and he had a pretty cool scavenger feel, which sort of felt the vibe of where Fortnite used to be years ago. But for where we're at now with our new hero designs, we felt like we wanted to clean him up, make him a little bit more handsome, make him a little more just have a little bit more of that heroic vibe. So we went through, did a little bit of concept art, some work on his proportions, his costuming. We stuck with the original vibe of him, going for that sort of like young Asian man look, and some of the concepts, went a little too far into boy band member territory, but. Our awesome concept artist Drew Hill painted these. Then we did a bunch of work on different costume looks as well. Do we have that picture?
Yeah, here we go.
Can you zoom? Did you have the ability to zoom in and pan around that? That'd be awesome.
I do.
Sweet. So we did a bunch of different looks, kind of seeing how far we wanted to stray from the original versus do something all new. And the look we ended up going with was what we felt kind of made him match the female Outlander as closely as possible, where he'd have sort of a darker clothed lower half and a little bit of a splash of color up top with the orange shoulder pads. So we're pretty stoked with how he came out. So far everybody seems to be digging him. So we hope you guys really like him, and we're going to move on to the next one.
Can we say who that is?
We can. The next character will be the female ninja. So
my goodness!
That'll round out our cast of heroes as far as all four of the heroes having a male and female representation.
That's going to make me very happy because my daughter asks me once a week when the female ninja model is coming into the game, and so now I can finally tell her. She's like, what's so long? She's like, when I draw a picture, like 5 minutes, boom, I drew the picture, it's done. And so she, in her child mind,
I'm pretty sure that there are people that think it works that way here.
I'm often drawing pictures for Pete. Here you go.
If you want to bring in her drawings, we can bring it into the art review and see
how it goes.
See if the concept artists have any feedback for her.
Yeah, I've been trying to explain to her. It's actually a little more to it than
that. But yeah, we're working on her. We're working on a bunch of other things too. So don't know when that will land, but it is coming at some point.
I love the detail. I like the shoes, the left and right on the shoes is like you guys knocked it out of the park with the little details on the guy, which is awesome.
Yeah, we felt like giving him some pretty fresh kicks.
Yeah, his kicks are awesome.
All right. Well, let's take a look at the Outlander in game. We're gonna fire up a. Oh yeah. I forgot about the grass.
Oh,
I
how could you
almost
do that
forgot
to
about
us?
the grass. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. One of the other big art things, I guess we've got that, and we got our siphon.
yeah, we can talk about that.
The environment team and the engineers have put their beautiful minds together and figured out a way to dynamically populate the world with grass meshes. So we have a really cool new grass system. It's sort of a first pass, so we're going to look at further improvements and how we can kind of clean up some of the little edge cases where grass is showing up where it shouldn't. But for the most part, it's looking really good. We think it sort of adds a whole new level of lushness to the world, and we're looking forward to just expand on that. So it's something we've wanted to add to the game for a while, and we're happy to finally give it to all of you guys, because who doesn't love grass?
There you go.
All right, so let's take a look. There's a little more art stuff that I want to talk about here that is in game. Looks like we found a siphon.
Yep.
And so we're gonna go in game now. So you can see we have the male Outlander here, but also there's some new art on the siphon here that you can tell us about.
Sure.
Zach taunts the Outlander.
Yeah, and the shredder. Look at yeah, that shredder's awesome. Look at that thing. It's not as good as my fire one, but that's okay.
So you guys who are familiar with the game have seen we've got this cool mission in that lets you harvest the blue glow from this little blue pool on the ground. This thing that we've made for it has been a pretty big team effort of getting all these moving pieces to fold into place, but we put this thing together as sort of setting a new bar for how cool we want our mission objectives to be. So it was a really fun piece to put together. Once Zach starts up the mission, you'll get to see this thing fire up and do its thing. Squirrel!
Yeah, exactly. Squirrel! All right. So,
Yeah, I mean, this thing is awesome.
yeah, I'm going to go ahead and activate this thing without building a huge amount of defenses. Hopefully, my crew here is going to help protect. We'll see. We've got a pretty substantial home base rating, so I think we'll be okay. But we'll find out very quickly.
Right, and you're actually playing with some players from the game today.
Yeah, we've got Fox and Hayes and Alanaba. So thank you guys for helping us out. But yeah, so community playing I think is pretty fun.
Yeah, we've met some of these guys too.
Yeah, we had Fox out recently. It was maybe like a month and a half ago, out to come and meet the team. So that was awesome to have some of the people that have been playing the game a lot and have been sort of veteran players in the community to come out and get that face-to-face time.
We appreciate everybody in our community. Our community is super cool, and I think being able to do it.
Thing just builds up over time. Man, that's awesome.
What? Fire.
they just have my back. They're just like, man, what are you doing over there?
It's like I'm admiring the view.
That's right.
Pete's art is strong.
Oh. So whenever Pete, you have to go do art things, you're free to just kind of sneak away.
Sure. I want to see what happens with the siphon.
I know Darren, that we have a lot of players that watch the stream every time we have it on, but we also have a lot of new people joining us. So can you kind of tee up for people if they've never seen Fortnite before? What is Fortnite?
So Fortnite is our action building game, which is defined as great visceral combat, which is what you're seeing today, with quick building. As you can watch these guys, they're slamming out walls and defending their structure and killing lots of cool, colorful creatures. And then we sort of mix all that building stuff together with a giant RPG where you can pick your heroes, upgrade your weapons, craft them, craft traps, get cool gadgets like the ability to res your friends or call in supply drops. Mixing all those elements together, and that's our beautiful creature known as Fortnite.
Awesome. So it looks like you were successful here.
Yeah, they destroyed that.
That was pretty awesome. Honestly, there wasn't even. We had multiple smashers. This is actually when we get to this objective that we're going to play here. This is actually going to be really fun.
So I've seen some questions in the stream for people asking, saying,
Thanks,
"Hey,
Pete.
yeah, thank you, Pete. Hey, I've been watching Fortnite. I've been following along. I want to play. When can I play?" Good news, if you're in the stream right now, we probably have a code for you. Let us know in the chat, and we will PM some codes and make sure we get you guys in and playing.
Yeah, I mean, the team, we always, we like interacting with our community, and the people who are playing our game are super cool, and we make games so people can play them. So I appreciate everybody's patience because, man, I want people to play our game. So yeah, get in the stream, get some codes.
All right, so this mission that we're in right now is power the reactor. So what are we doing?
So the portion of power the reactor, what we're focused on right now is that so the home base has sent us a new reactor core that they've dropped in for us, and this is all prototype art. So we're still iterating through this mission. Normally, when we design a mission, we put together some concepts. We put some temporary art in so we can see how it plays. And for right now, because we're in sort of online test phases, we're bringing this out to the community so that way they can give us feedback as well. So right now, this is our temporary art asset for this reactor. So
which is quite a bit different than the siphon. That's
oh,
the two
oh yeah,
differences,
the siphon is what we'd consider final art quality, and this reactor is sort of our temp mesh.
Yep.
So what we're focused on at the moment is we're going to go ahead and build around this reactor to be able to defend it. When we've got our base built up, we're going to go ahead and activate it, and what that's going to do is that's going to spawn a whole bunch of reactor parts throughout the world. They're all hidden, and so the fiction is that the reactor's here. We need to power it back up. The husks have stolen a bunch of parts and hidden them throughout the level, and so when we activate it, those parts will show up, and then all of us have to go out and find those parts. As we're finding parts, we're getting attacked. There's going to be these sort of these vantage points that pop up. That if we defend them, it'll show us where a couple of the reactor parts are, and then we rinse and repeat until we've completed powering up the reactor, and then once we've powered up the reactor, we'll get a final volley of husks that come in and attack, and we need to defend against that. So,
Got it.
the interesting things about some of the things that we changed versus previous OTs on this is that we've implemented a burst spawning system. For the waves, and so when we get the first attack, what we're going to see just a horde of monsters all spawn at the same time, and it's going to be crazy. It's just be complete utter chaos. It's super fun.
Awesome. So we talked about how it's class based. It looks like you're playing the constructor right now. What can you tell me about that class?
So the constructor sort of has several key sort of abilities and powers. So the main one is that he can take and upgrade. He's the only one that has the direct ability anyway, to upgrade all types of walls, wood, brick, and metal to level 3, which is what I'm doing here. Each of the classes, the soldier has the ability to upgrade wood walls to level 3 at a certain level, and then the Outlander has the ability to upgrade brick to level 3, but the constructor can upgrade everything to level 3, which gives us the biggest amount of defense, for our base. He also has his base defenses that we're going to set up here. This basically creates an energy field around the base for a certain number of tiles, which for my level 20 constructor that I'm playing here gives me pretty big advantage insofar as it creates an electrified field on the floor, so husks take damage. It does auto repairing. I've got it spec'd so that way it extends the field even further. So he's got that. He also has a bull rush charge ability, which I can run into husks and push them out of the way and get them off my walls, so that way I can be defending those. And then he has a plasma pulse, which is this ability here, which is basically kind of an in-place grenade that throws a bunch of damage all around it. So it's a kind of an area of denial of power.
Awesome. So it feels like in Power the Reactor, there's quite a bit of coordination needed between teammates going out and finding those pieces. Do you've played a lot with this group here. Do you guys have a go-to? Like you think everybody will know immediately what to do and run out and make stuff happen?
Yes, with this group, yes, we won't have any issues. Yeah, so they know exactly how to play this and how to win fairly quickly. So they know exactly where to go, which is great. And for new players coming in, as you get some of these missions, as with any game, you start learning sort of the ins and outs, and you come up with new strategies of how to play. This base build that we're doing right now is a little different than the ones that I've used in the past, but it's actually super interesting. So we're just basically doing a straight up structure. What we're probably going to do here actually is add some slanted walls and some other pieces. Let me get this. So add some slanted walls and some other pieces to help keep the husks off the main wall.
Got it.
So we'll add some traps around here.
So
I think these guys are letting me do the cool stuff, which I appreciate. they're like, come on, why don't you do some building here?
Yeah, so let's talk about building for a minute, because you're kind of flying through it. Obviously, a very experienced builder. How does building work in Fortnite?
So we have lots of husks that attack us. Just a second. Okay, so we have 4 main building pieces. So we have let me reset this back. So we have walls. So we have 3 main building materials, and I think we can see that. Yep, we have wood, brick, and metal. We have walls, we have floors, we have stairs, we have stairs, and we have essentially ceiling pieces, and this is a ceiling piece. Each of the pieces has edit modes, so you can edit the piece, and they have different modes, so you can make different piece configurations. And so some of the configurations are invalid for certain elements, but for the most part, we've added a lot, and there's a lot of room in the system to expand it over time. And so we've selected a set that we think are interesting. So, an example is that we can put a arch into a wall piece. We can make a half arch. We can make a wall with a window. We can make a wall with 2 windows. We can put a door in. We can put a door in the middle. So we have a lot of configuration, a lot of customization that we can do within the system.
It feels like a big part of that intent is to be able to do it obviously very quickly, get up a structure.
Yes, and Fortnite is especially during battle, there's definitely an expectation that you're able to make very fast choices about certain building configurations and be able to respond to husks and the way the zombies are attacking you, to be able to defend against them in the moment.
It's one of the interesting things that we see when new people play. They sort of understand the 4 proto pieces, but then over time people learn like, oh, I can actually change into create stairs that are switchback stairs, or any of the pieces that Zach was just showing off with the arches. Just those are the things that we're going to do that advanced players can build. And man, when I watch people playing, the elder players are like, the things that they can do quickly in a fight is amazing. So that's been one of the things we've tried to do as a guiding principle for Fortnite, is maintain the ability to sort of build quickly and sometimes under duress.
Definitely under duress. And so along with sort of our building pieces, we also have traps. And so and the point of traps primarily is to damage husks or to move them around the map. And so one of the things I'm going to do here is we've got a jump trap that I've just equipped. And so we're going to put some jump traps here next to the walls, so that way we can push the husks off the walls as they come up to attack us. And then in this case, we're actually going to be able to push them down off the ramp. So.
Right. That's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. And so the other thing we're going to find out here pretty fast is that we won't know what direction they initially spawn from. So this is one of the maps where when we need to defend this, when they attack, it's going to let us know where they're coming from, but it's right before they attack. So as we're building and prepping the space, we actually have to prep from all directions. Whereas some of the easier missions, some of the close the gate, you know more up front where they're going to be coming from, so will you plan a little differently.
So will you save a little bit for that last sort of moment before, or do you just kind of adjust once?
We'll prep all the way around, and then we should be able to hold, and then we can react. We can react to something if we need to. but we'll make sure that we have a pretty good system set up. Now, fortunately, our team here is sporting a lot of high-end weapons, and so between these high-end weapons and the walls, I think we're gonna be pretty good.
So how do you get all the awesome weapons in Fortnite?
Darren, you want to talk through that?
Yeah. So guys at this level have the secret actually has been a lot about cooperative play. We do a good, we've got some good quests that we have a feature called the Outpost in the game. The Outpost is the player's persistent area where they get to build, and their building is saved, and all of the resources they put into that area become their own and stick with them. And that gameplay is about defending that structure. And what happens is that we give a significant boost for helping other people in those kind of fights. And the elder players really this is what's cool, is the elder players really like to help out other younger people, I suppose, in terms of game age. And by helping them out, they get tons of rewards, and those rewards let them get card packs, and that's how they end up busting out with all these cool guns. So yeah, it's really, we spent a lot of time trying to create a lot of incentives for cooperative gameplay in Fortnite, and that's a secret to success, I think.
Sure. And once you're in game, you can trade and pass a lot of that stuff back and forth, right?
That's right. We're going to be iterating through some of our economy over time. We'll be making adjustments, but one of the things we've sort of been able to hold on to is the ability to, Zach can make a gun and give it to somebody that he's playing with relatively easily, and then they can go have fun with that gun. So if Zach wants to make a flaming cannon, and he wants to pass that off to a newer player so they can have some fun with it. We let the system work that way. Now we obviously do things like the guns break over time, but that's one of the things that freedom gives us, so that other players can have a lot of fun with high-end equipment. And I think it's actually been a pretty it's been a pretty good experiment.
So let's talk a little bit while Zach's still building and preparing here about the other.
I think we're pretty close.
Let's talk about some of the other classes real quick.
Yeah.
In Fortnite, so we talked about Constructor. We showed the Outlander, the new male model for it. Yep. But what is the Outlander class?
So the Outlander is predominantly an explorer style class. A lot of his abilities are about either traversing the world quite quickly, finding treasure. He has the ability to spot treasure behind walls, and in certain builds, he can actually even detect things behind that are literally hidden through his keen eyes abilities. And he also has his major hallmark ability is the ability to pick up fragments, which are little pods that are dropped into the game world. And those fragments contain different buffs: an offensive one, a defensive one, and sort of a utility one. The utility one I think saw earlier in the stream where they were beating on the llama, and the more teammates that hit the llama, the more rewards pop out of that. So that's a good cooperative mechanic. And then defensive drops a shield for your entire team, and then of course the offensive buff is the mighty Robo Bear, which is a sentry turret that can quite a powerful one that can be used on the fly. And so he's really a really great class if you like to gather resources, find treasure, and generally be a fast-moving character on the ground, I think is the best way to say it. And then we have our ninja, which is our melee specialist, and he is your base-to-base fighter. He's really good at delivering melee damage. He has abilities like smoke bomb, which deals damage to enemies in a radius if he gets overwhelmed. He has a double jump ability, which allows him to be a masterful sort of character that can move from tops of buildings to tops of buildings. He has his dragon slash, which is a dash forward that, depending on how you spec it, leaves a trail of damage behind him and just generally does a ton of damage. And then he's got his shurikens, which is he throws his stars, at a cost of energy. So it's like, he always has a ranged weapon ready. And then Zach already went over the constructor, and then we have the soldier, and the soldier is sort of the master of ranged combat, and they have the ability to summon their own little minigun, which is quite powerful, and it doesn't consume any resources, so the soldier always has a gun at the ready. They have grenades, which is exactly what you'd expect, which is AoE damage, and then they have a pushback. Which basically, if the soldier gets overwhelmed, it can and drops a little device that pushes all the enemies back and deals some damage. So it keeps him at the ability to stay at range.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and activate this.
You guys are looking good.
Yeah,
Fire it up.
I'm excited. I want to see you guys rock this. I feel like you're just going to clean it up handily.
Yeah,
That's my guess.
I think that might be the case. We'll see how it goes here, but.
Oh, I like the fact that you guys have a little. That's from your upper end play, right? So you got to dodge behind that because of the the blasters, right?
Yeah, the blasters. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's good.
So what are we gonna see, Darren? What kind of enemies are we gonna potentially see here?
Well, at this difficulty level, we should actually see most of the enemy types. It's actually just a variance. So the thing I was just talking about is the blaster, which we now have a tall husk in the world, and he shoots literally laser beams from his eyes and mouth, and that is basically a machine gun of sorts for the bad guys. Then we'll probably be dealing with the lobbers, which are artillery units. They basically deal damage to the area around the base and to the base walls as well. And there's two variants of that: one that's mostly structural, and one that also leaves clouds. And then our flinger. I'd be interested to see if the flinger pops in this.
Well,
flingers should be in this, right?
We're in canny, so we're at level 90 difficulty.
Yeah,
if you
so
look
you're
here, these are 90 difficulty monsters.
Yeah, so we're in that's actually awesome. So yeah, well, maybe you guys will be challenged. Flinger is a creature that actually throws other enemies on top of your fort. So if you don't build roofs, they end up inside your fortress, or they land on top, and then they start burrowing into your base. So that's a cool creature. Then we have propane tank husks, which are ones that basically deliver exactly propane tanks to your base and blow things up. Then we have husky husks, which are just generally tanky creatures that have more HP. And then we have the Smasher, which is like a siege unit that just runs around and tries to bust through your walls. And if your walls aren't powerful enough, and you have some of the light fences, they'll blast right through them and cause a lot of damage quickly, which opens up holes in the base so the other creatures can run through. And speaking of the creatures that run through, then you've got your little dwarf husks that run around. And they're little tiny husks, and they can be quite dangerous if you let them swarm you.
Are those still coming in groups of 7 at the moment?
The idea behind the 7 dwarves was a thing. So that's where that came from. I'm not sure if that's always going to remain so, but that is the origin of that idea.
Huh.
Man, you guys are, I don't know, this doesn't seem to be rough for you. Got a whole 4.5 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good so far. So if you're in the chat, people are asking about a couple of things.
Yeah.
Codes, definitely are giving as many codes in the chat as possible. I know a lot of you want them, and we're PMing them to you. So if you're not seeing us type codes into the chat, that's why we want to PM them to each individual person if we can. And if you get one, what you do is you go to Fortnite.com, you log in, you can redeem the code, and actually when you do that, you'll find that there are 2 friend invites associated with the code, so you can play with your friends.
Yeah.
There's also some people asking about NDA. Yes, Fortnite is still under NDA. We are showing it here on the stream. We do that every once in a while, but we're not quite ready yet for streaming and video content and stuff like that, but we will get there.
Yeah. Yeah, you got your sentry guns.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We got serious sentry guns. That's awesome.
All right, so we got 3 minutes left.
Yeah. And we only have one more part to find. So these guys have while I have not found 0 parts. Sometimes I find 5 parts. Sometimes I've opened a few. I found a few of the secret caches, but everybody else is quite a bit faster than I am. So they've ran it all the way through this level and they found a lot of them so far. So I think we have 1 more left to find. And then we're waiting for these things to install. So each part takes a minute to install. And so either way, we're going to get rated in here in about 2 minutes. So we'll see how that goes. I believe the base will hold up, but
I believe so as well.
but it's going to be pretty fun.
All right.
I thought I was going to be okay the other day, and we weren't. So.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The burst spawning was pretty intense.
Got it.
Oh, there we go.
Park.
Look,
Good
I
job.
found the last one. That's awesome.
Right there.
We get excited when we play the game. So. Yeah, so I mean, we're this is one of those missions, the power of the reactor. Like it hasn't gone through as many iterations as some of our other missions.
Sure.
But we are actually we've got a good plan about things we're going to do with this guy. Can't quite give all the details right now, but it's going to be cool. We're like everything in Fortnite, we are iterating with the community, making stuff better. My thing is like, man, we actually want to spend more time with the community than we actually have time to do because we're making the game. Mm-hmm. But generally, it's like it's proportionate. Like there's a bunch of things that people have been asking for that we're definitely working on, and that's why we've been a little quieter than I think we had been up to that point because we're working on bringing the stuff that people told us, oh, you should totally make X or Y, and there's a bunch of stuff in there that we are totally working on right now. So bear with us as we go because the guys are working super hard to bring what the folks want.
So let's talk a little bit before we fire.
59 seconds.
Our fight here.
Yeah.
Tell me about crafting, Darren.
All right. So crafting is the secret to success in Fortnite. We are a building game, and we sort of see building, crafting as an extension of building. Players collect schematics from card packs, and those schematics they give you recipes, and then you find ingredients in the world, and then you're able to build them. So a lot of the core guns take things like copper ore, and they end up being pretty valuable to making new stuff. So in this case, what are you using right now, actually?
I've got Death Stalker.
You got the Death Stalker. So what happened is that Zach found this in a card pack at one point, and he spent a bunch of time leveling it, which increases its damage. And then once in that part is forever bound to Zach's account and the power of that blueprint and that schematic rather. And then every time he gets the right amount of ingredients, he can build that in the game world. And the true power in Fortnite is the ability to build. And so, a gun you find in the world only lasts so long, but the ability to have plans about making things is really the true power of Fortnite. All right, so we got some artillery going to work on the base.
Now I know, Zach, that you and your team are really, really good. You're probably going to get through this. You're going to win, but I understand that should you die, that will happen in a way that's different than it's happened in the past.
That is true. In fact, we could probably show off some of that too.
Oh look!
Yeah.
Man, you just
wiping
the floor
that
with
was
that guy.
That was some combination of those guys down there too. And so right now, my main goal, by the way, is what I'm trying to do is just keep these artillery down. So the making sure the lobbers.
So you see that guy up there?
Yeah.
Likely the result of the lobber throwing him up there.
That's right. That's exactly what happened.
So that's
is
the back in even in the early days of Fortnite and our combat explorations, this example of we wanted to give the people. I want to be a sniper, and how do I contribute in this game? It's you build a giant tower so you can see the whole battlefield, and then you take out your scope and you start picking away. And snipers are very powerful against the artillery, and that actually helps your base tremendously because they just destroy them. And then you may ask, what is the ninja's role if he's super fast? Well, some of our creatures, the flinger specifically, is not necessarily best destroyed with a sniper rifle, and the ninja's job is to go out there and clean house on those guys. But yeah, man, this team is strong. Like this is like, as I always amaze, like Zach's playing with a lot of the elder members of our community, so they're just taking this encounter apart. And I want to see you guys like play at the top end.
Yeah, entwine or something.
Yeah.
I keep seeing that alert come up. The storm contains lightning enemies. What does that mean?
Yeah. So we have, the way our encounter systems work is that we have different elemental types of enemies. We want to give the players some feedback about, hey, what type of enemy is coming on board, coming next, and that's our way of messaging. It's a little bit less elegant than probably we would like, but but we're hoping it's clear. So we're gonna keep evolving that, and like I said, the elemental exchanges. What's your go-to weapon against lightning enemies?
You know what? I think I've got an energy rifle someplace in here. So normally what I do is energy.
Okay.
My shredder is a fire, has incendiary round, so it's not effective against lightning.
Yep. So you're changing up.
Yeah. So that's actually what I was just looking at. I think the Death Stalker I was using is pretty good too. For some reason, our search isn't coming up with that. It's interesting.
Got a question in the chat
Yeah.
about the enemy waves. Do they scale up based on the number of players that are in your party? How does that happen in Fortnite?
So our general philosophy, I want to start by saying our general philosophy is it's always better to have more people. In a world where it doesn't feel that way, we're going to keep making it so it feels that way. We want to attain that. Sometimes that's not the case, but we want the ability to have more players always be good. We do scale a small amount of enemies getting increased when there's more people in the thing. There's the Robo Bear going to work on the thing. Again, that's sort of a proto mesh. We're going to make a more awesome one, but I already think he's awesome. So awesome. So that's the Outlander ability. It's actually one of my favorite abilities in the game right now.
Oh man,
that was the ninja.
That was awesome.
The ninja just took out with his Dragon Slash a whole line of enemies. Sorry about that. So yeah, so we want to have it be cooperative is the name of the game, and so our hope is that every time you join with another group, another player, your powers stack together. You get more HP, you deal more damage. It's just the home bases stacked together, and that's sort of the guiding philosophy of Fortnite. So generally the hope is that more people is where you want to be. We're still tuning some of the things. Sometimes every now and again we make a tuning step and we end up with more creatures than we'd like in a given group game. But it always should be an advantage to have people in Fortnite. Now, one of the reasons why we did that is that we found out back in the day that if we didn't scale at all, it was a little bit less action for people to shoot at, so we had to make some concessions there.
So Zach is gonna
there it is.
Gonna die to the husks here.
Killer name. That's neat.
Yep. So Zach has gone man down. His team could go help him.
They're thinking about it.
Thinking about it.
Trying. Okay.
Or in that case, and that's again another cooperative mechanic. Or Zach can spend a life and just res right there in that area. If he decides to not do that, then he will go back to the world spawn point, which may or may not be farther away. So we want to give some strategy behind not dying, but not a huge penalty. And so we're just trying out the life system right now. And I think that gives us a bunch of mechanics that we can tie onto.
And so this victory screen is actually pretty new too, right?
That's right. Yeah, we added in this victory screen. It's still work in progress, but it's in my opinion superior from the one we had before.
What do we earn here, Zach?
Oh, so we get mission badges that sort of correlate. Those set sort of the amount of reward that we get from the mission, and then we're getting some score here. All scores adds up. It's about the cooperative play again. Like we all get score, and so any things that we do in the game, everybody contributes, and then we get some XP, and it looks like Fox here is leveling up his Outlander, so he's on 12, and he's actually getting XP, whereas the rest of us have capped out our heroes at the moment.
Yeah, and a big thing actually when we were talking before about our mechanics is that the whole team score adds together, and then you get the payout for the entire group. So that's good. The more people you have, the more score you earn, which means the better stuff you get. Wow, that was
awesome.
That was amazing.
I was holding on to that.
Well, there you go.
Husk transition there. Okay, so we are out here in the home base now. Let's take a look around here real quick before we jump into another mission, because I do think we probably have time to play one more.
Yeah.
Tell me about home base.
So this is the home base, and so it's part of the progression of the game. For other games, it's very similar to a progression tree or to a skill tree, but it's in the form of a base that you build over time. And so we have here several buildings, and clearly I've upgraded this home base quite a bit actually. So I'm near the end game currently, and so you build these structures, and you can upgrade them over time. Each of the structures here has different sets of upgrades. They increase your power, and specifically within this is the constructor site. This is where I sort of upgrade my constructor and make him more powerful. Each building I can slot workers in. These workers give me more power, and there's some matching that's going on within this as well. The overall power here is like this is increasing my fortitude, which gives me more health, damage, resistance. So as I slot these workers, and so every single building here has workers in it, and we've got some slotting here.
There you go.
This is where you can slot all your heroes. So in Fortnite we don't have, it's not like World of Warcraft or Diablo where you slot equipment onto your hero.
Right.
But instead we have this slotting system where you collect survivors in the world and you bring them back to your home base, and then you can slot them into your home base to give you power. And then each one of these guys is upgradable over time, and so you can upgrade them to increase their ability within giving you power in the home base.
Yeah, and it's worth noting, I think you have this is one of those artifacts of we really we have been reticent to reset the progression of the community. Again, we are eventually going to have to do that. But Zach's guys, he has a lot of the older survivors, so their art all looks the same. But Pete and the art team have actually added lots of new portraits. So if you're a new player coming in, you should have all new portraits. That's why his portraits look the same, because we have never reset him, so he doesn't have all the new guys.
I have some new guys standing.
But they're I was going to say, but
I think I recycled them.
But
all.
I was going to say, you've invested time in the original guys you had,
right.
so you don't have them. But it'll be easier. Here's some great examples.
Yeah,
these are the new pieces of art, so they don't all look the same. That was just an artifact of not having reset everybody. We wanted people to play through, but the new stuff is awesome.
All right, so let's hop into the world map here and find another mission to play. So what's something that we can play pretty quickly, but let's make it tough.
Yeah,
we make it tough, because I feel like you guys did a really good job. Let's test.
You want to take it up a notch?
Yeah, let's test our abilities here.
Let's see, we go city, deliver the goods. I think this is what you're trying to play last stream, and it went all right, but then I think we got a crash during it, so we can try that again.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do that. Okay. And this is one level. This is one difficulty up. I guess we could have probably gone two, but we'll see how this goes. This will be a little harder since there's a lot more movement that we're going to have to do here, and if we go fast, it'll definitely be a lot harder.
All right, let's see how it goes. So deliver the goods is our newest mission type, right?
That's right, and it's yep. We added it. I don't know. Actually,
January, right?
It was in January. Yeah, it was January that we added it.
Right?
Yeah, it's definitely the newest mission type.
Yeah, we wanted to give the players an ability to build with a sort of track and cart system. So this was our experiment to see how that worked out, and we've actually, the guys who made this have definitely iterated from the experiences they've had, and we want to do more with it over time. But yeah, it's been cool to play with the community and see what both of the challenges are and what's cool about it. Um, I want to ride the cart around my outposts. So I don't know when we're going to get to that, but that's my hope.
All right.
All right. So first step here is we're going to need to find the objective, I think. So we're going to run around here really quick, look at our map, figure out where we're at.
I like how you resist the urge to unlock the fragment for your buddy there. Like, whatever.
We're searching for things.
Yeah, just not that thing.
That's right.
So again, those are dwarf husks that are of the fire type. So again, like they.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Lucky. All right, now we're gonna have to find the other part of it. So yeah, so there's 2 stations on this this objective, and again, you'll see it's very temporary art at the moment, definitely placeholder, and so this is part of it. I'm going to go ahead and deploy this. So pull this little switch here. Now, so this is B. Now we need to go find A.
Yep. So, Darren, if you could talk a little bit about sort of the world and map generation.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. I sometimes forget like there's a bunch of people in the stream who haven't played before. Yeah. So our whole world is procedurally generated. Now that's defined for us as that we basically our level designers take a bunch of puzzle pieces that they sort of curate and make cool, the individual plots where the houses are and the types of buildings, and then the system combines all those pieces together into one environment. And they generally are thematic, so we'll have an urban environment or suburbia or the plains or forests, and it chooses from pieces that they've labeled as part of those environments to create these things. So you'll see, when you play Fortnite, like Zach has for 1,000 hours, you'll begin to become familiar with some aspects of the pieces of those that we build the world out of. But every time the world's how it is built and put together is just a little bit different. And we find that in a building game, one of the interesting challenges that players face is like the environment has changed around them, and then they have to build to compensate that.
Right.
So that's why we find that system pretty important to making a variance in the gameplay. So yeah, so that's how the worlds are built. And the thing is like one of the interesting parts that I have when I play with new folks is like they find the little bits in the world where the level designers have added, like whether it's hidden gnomes or treasure chests behind false walls in the environment. Like there's a lot of things that our level designers have carefully put in there. So when people want to go and explore and really dig into the game, they can find really cool stuff. And as the game has been evolving and some of the work we're doing even now, is going to make those moments of finding chests and finding items even more awesome. And so finding that stuff is going to pay off in a big way to the player score and strength.
Yeah, and I do want to call out how awesome our track building system. You guys put a lot of work into getting this thing just looking awesome. Getting all these pieces fitting exactly right, so as we play it, the system basically just allows you to place pieces, and it'll just connect them all up for you.
Yeah, this is one of the really cool parts of the system that they, we could have gone with a system where you just place the track down, or you have to spin it and you have to rotate it.
Right.
But the guys working on it really wanted to make it be smart, or as smart as it could be, and anticipate what the player wanted to do. Again, keeping with the idea of trying to build quickly and on the fly. So it anticipates sort of what you want to do, and and tries to match that intent. And then when it doesn't, you'll see the switches on the ground, and the players can throw switches and change the flow of the track direction, which is awesome.
In fact, we're going to make it quite interesting here. Let's see. Get that built.
All right.
Now I need some more. You gonna push me to start this thing up? Is that what you're doing?
I'm not gonna push you.
You're not.
Are you not? You're not ready yet?
No, not ready yet.
I see you're still building tracks, so I'm gonna assume that you need more time.
Just a little.
No,
Just a
we're
little.
not.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
We're not in a hurry at all.
So it's a little bit of a complicated system here, but it should be pretty fun.
But that's what's interesting
yeah.
about the procedural generation, right? Is you don't know exactly what you're going to get. Obviously you've got different terrain here and stuff that you've got to think about.
Yep, and then how the enemies interact with it. You can see their strategy a little bit. Like they're like, well, we've got to put roofs to protect the track because we know we're going to end up with artillery that's going to rain down on it. So it becomes an exercise of like, how do you defend against the creature types we have in the game currently, and then over time we'll be adding more and more that will ask questions of our players. That's sort of how designers talk about it. It's like what are the question that this creature is asking of the player, and like what's their answer to feel smart and accomplished. So the current things are like, oh well, artillery asks hey, we better put roofs on this thing, or the ability to, what happens if a propane tank comes up to this, what do we do?
Yeah.
It's worth noting, like Pete and the guys who worked on the grass system, that if you go there and you dig underneath that spot, that grass is then laid down, right?
Oh yeah.
So I know that doesn't sound, maybe that's not exciting to the entirety of the user, but to us developers, it's awesome.
Yeah, they put a lot of work into making this work really, really well.
And this is the kind of stuff that they're still.
Yeah, this is a bug right here that there'll be fixes, likely just because this is a proto mesh, and so we didn't make it lay down on the ground in exactly the right way. Versus you can see it's like when these things get placed down, all the grass, the grass just disappears, it all gets laid down. That's nice. It's nice and clean. It's pretty impressive. So then we can even break this panel up, and now we've mowed it all up. That's pretty cool. Now just wait till we have it growing back, and then it'll flower. That'd be hilarious. Yeah. We'll be there eventually, no doubt. All right, let's see here.
So one of the things from the last couple of updates, sort of relating to the AI, is that in the past sometimes you would build a structure, husks would be more inclined to try to go around it, and it seems like they're more likely to go through now.
Yeah, we've it's interesting. I won't speak too much about the exact details of it because actually I'm interested to see where the players end up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we have definitely changed some of how the players or how the creatures interpret their pathing. So how they get from point A to B and how they get to their targets. So we've definitely had some adjustments to change that from the way that they used to be. And I'm actually curious where the community is going to land with that.
Is that because again, without getting into too much specific, is that because community gets too good at figuring out how to solve problems?
No, it actually, we always know that we wanted the game to be somewhat dynamic, but it's actually a little bit about like how the real question is, how smart do you want the creatures to be? Right. You want them to be smart enough where the game is not boring, but that you can predict sometimes like where they're going to be, and or the flip side is like that they're not. Not every creature is a heat-seeking missile that finds the absolute one weak spot in your design and then blows it apart. Right. So, actually it's been really awesome for the engineers who've worked on this. They've done a tremendous amount of work and put a lot of love and care into it. And having the ability to detect what the one weak point in the design is actually super awesome, because then we can do things with that. But it's a question of whether or not every creature on the board should have that knowledge, is where the subtleties of the design is, and that's what we're working on. We're going to be iterating through. So So
All
yeah,
right, we're getting close.
I know. I'm ready. I'm ready for you to push the button.
I'm trying to figure out exactly. Trying to decide where I want to land. Oh, look at that. Trying to decide where I want to land my base, my constructor base.
Yeah, again, like figuring out the constructor is very powerful as a defensive guy, and figuring out the right place to drop his base is to being an awesome constructor. That's key.
It's hard to know exactly where these guys are going to focus on. Man, these tunnels are awesome. Makes me think back to the days when I was like growing up, and like I had this awesome hayloft in my barn and all my hay bales, and we got 2x4s and made just awesome hay bale forts.
Yep. This isn't a new thing, but it's always interesting. I'm actually always interested in where the players are. Like we've got the when Zach was hitting those guys with the fire damage before, you could see that the numbers are a bit flaming and cool looking.
Yeah.
And I'm always wondering if we're always, they look really awesome, and I want to be able to hit the right balance between looking badass and also being able to be read.
Right.
And so we're always walking that line. Like we want to stylize everything because our game is stylized, and that makes it awesome. And so it's always like so we're always experimenting, and those numbers are just another example of hey, what happens if we change the damage types to on the numbers?
Right.
So it's not a new thing, but I think it's one of those things that we think is pretty cool.
Weird.
Like we're just about ready to fire it up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna build I'm just gonna use this right here. Get some stamina. Connect this up a little bit so that way we get my base power kind of moving throughout the system. Hold it here, make sure they don't just straight up coming that way. Alright. Get a little roof on this guy and make sure that we don't get.
So I was going to ask Will from before, because you mentioned your daughter was into trying to figure out when we're going to get the female ninja. What's the current favorite character?
Well, she likes ninja.
Oh yeah, just the ninja. She just wants the female version.
Yeah. So she asks about it probably once a week, and I remind her like, yeah, it takes a little more time. Just be a little bit. I try to tell her, it's not as soon as you might like, but it will get done. So she's gonna be very happy about that. Find out at least that the female ninja is next.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's definitely next in line. It'll be awesome.
All right. Just need to get some blue glow in here. I think Hayes was running around some blue glow.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's right there. He's gonna come back this way.
If you're in the stream and you're waiting on a code, hang on. We will get to you. Even after the stream is over, we're going to stick around and chat for a little bit because we've got a bunch of people. We want to make sure that we take care of as many of you as possible. When you get your code, you go to Fortnite.com, you log in, create an account if you don't already have one, but you log in, can redeem the code, and there's 2 friend invites along with that code, so you can invite some of your friends to play. And then you can ride the hover tub together like Zach's doing.
Yeah. One of the things, like we're still working on aspects of this, but one of the things we've been thinking about doing is adding little places on the ground that actually, when you build over them with the tub, it'll make the tracks accelerate. So there'll be areas like it's just like this is a speed up, and so
right.
so maybe we'll get to the roller coaster yet with this thing.
All these enemies. Yeah, there's a whole bunches of dudes. Oh my gosh. We'll see how this goes.
I do like how you guys are like, you guys start the mission with just like, hey, we're cool, we're inside the tunnel.
We're just going to ride.
Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, make sure this goes the right way. That could have ended up going the wrong way. You make sure it comes through here.
Alright.
So we're gonna have to defend it here for a second. This is where I got my base set up, so that way we can. No, we'll see. We'll see here.
Now, I think if I remember correctly, the last time we streamed and we showed off this mission, you had I want to say, Darren, I think it was you that mentioned that there was like a record of how many times the hover tub had gone back and forth.
Yeah, well, I think it was, Zach was talking about that there is a far upper limit, I will say, to how many times you can get back and forth, and to get a high end badge. And I actually am not sure what it's actually set at, but not sure if it's actually attainable. Was the conversation last time?
That's right. And then it quickly got 3 PMs from several players.
That sounds like a challenge,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. They were like, I did that.
Exactly. And they're like super excited about it.
Yeah.
Oh man. This guy digging out.
Nice. Did you just one-shot that dude?
Perhaps.
Oh, all right.
Perhaps.
So,
but you can see so you can see that we've got some crazy guys going on here. They're all over the place. You know, it might seem safe in my tunnels. The tunnels that we've created here. It is in fact outside,
it can't be that
not safe.
It can't be that safe if you're having to repair them. That means something's happening.
Oh,
of course you can
we
see
just take it the wrong way? Oh no! Okay, reverse this thing. Come on, go back this way.
Yeah, I mean you can see.
You gotta wait. You gotta let it get back. Yeah,
There we go.
You can see the amount of husks there on the radar.
Yeah, they're all back there.
Oh, somebody's in the tunnel.
Yeah, so that was that pushback right there. The commander just shoved him back.
Yep.
Got him off of us, which was great. Very nice play. I can't quite get it up there.
You're not quite high
Jump
enough.
out here. As you can see, we've got these artillery coming in, so we need to make sure to roof this off. All right.
So there's a huge line of guys right to your right there, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that
wow.
was not good.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, the tunnel is no longer safe.
Safe, yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice there.
So there's the commando. He's busting out his skill. He's got his little minigun. He's trying to chew up the creatures as they come down the hallway. We always, one of the things we talk about, and our game is super fun and stylized, but we still have that conversation about the old Aliens movie with the guy with the giant chain gun who's like grinding up the creatures as they're walking down. Look how close that was.
Oh yeah, that was not good. I don't know what I did there. They're like, "What are you doing?"
So you play quite a bit with this group, Zach. There's certainly that sort of core of players that have put in a lot of time. I know you play with a bunch of those folks. What's some of the interesting stuff that you've seen them do while playing? Anything that surprised you?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Well, so I know at least one of our players was able to. That was so close. So one of our players had come on and asked me for some help in beating his Plankerton outpost. Mm-hmm. The last stage of his Plankerton outpost, and I jumped in and he had literally played all the way through to the end of Plankerton without pretty much building anything. He'd literally just played, with guns the entire time, and destroyed everything with just a few walls.
Wow.
And it was pretty amazing. And it wasn't something that I thought was even remotely, it's just not how I would have played at all.
Right.
And so we got in there and we were able to finish it out, but with a few traps, but literally gotten stuck at near the end, where the gun started giving out, and he actually had to build instead of just shoot. So it was pretty.
Yeah, we spent a bunch of time on we want to give everybody the actions you can do in Fortnite are a bunch of tools, and guns are just one of the tools. Traps are one of the tools. The building pieces are the tools. We want to give people the freedom to try to solve these sort of little combat challenges the way they want to, and so it's always interesting to see that moment of like, what, really, you're doing it without like in the tool metaphor, it's like you're really gonna try to win this without using your hammer. And you're
Right.
like, yeah, I totally am. And I'm like, all right. And apparently, there's certain guys who are just like, yep, I am the best carpenter without a hammer you will meet. And they will build or they will not build, or they shoot. They're like, my gun skills are so strong that I can do that, and that's actually okay. We want to encourage players to sort of play with the toolkit that we've given them, and hopefully that's fun.
Yeah, I always enjoy playing with a variety of players just because I feel like, when I get in there and I see somebody do something that I didn't know was possible or hadn't thought of, then that's just like another thing to add to my own toolkit, right? Of like, here's another way to try it.
Yep.
And it's fun for me the way that sort of information and those sort of strategies spread throughout the game and throughout the community just by, virtual people playing with each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
2 minutes left. It feels like
I think we might actually hit boy like.
Yes, I would say
Yeah,
this
I don't
has
know.
not gone without some hitches.
No, yeah, I don't know if the stream has audio of this or not, but boy, there's some craziness going on right now. Okay, good. Like it is just basically it just sounds like hordes of enemies on our walls.
Wait, back to the drop-off location.
Hayes and Fox. I mean, you can see all the health on the left there. They are not getting away free off this mission for sure. Like they're out there defending us.
Oh,
What
did you
just
run out
happened?
no tracks?
Yeah, that's no track, so I'm gonna have to get that down pretty fast here. But
Nice.
they're coming up through the floor, I think, is what's happening.
Oh yeah, they're totally coming up from the floor. That ain't good.
Nope. I think we can stave them off here, but boy, they're like, man, I really want that hover tub. There's some tasty treats right there.
Put some bacon in there.
Make sure we get this switch right.
Now, what's your strategy there? You have a different way around, and that's
Yeah,
why you gotta keep...
like literally my strategy was, okay, if they destroyed one segment of our track here, that we just take it down the other one, and then we could rebuild our other
Oh,
track.
all right, that's awesome.
contingency plan.
Yeah, I like the contingency. Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't help if we were halfway down one, but I figured that if following it down, I was like, and if it failed just too far, that we could switch it up on the way back.
And again, you're using your constructor ability to level up these walls. Can't quite get it up to the third tier though, right? Because you can't spend enough time.
Yeah, I know I don't quite have enough resources either.
Yeah.
This is a pretty hefty build. Awesome. Got a little gold badge there. Well, that's a beautiful placeholder screen right there.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
well, we're just adding it in. Bear with us, people.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know what I've been told. Soldier
I'm
is
a
the
soldier.
way to go.
That's right. I
Sound
got guns and
off.
bullets. Yeah, good to fight.
That's right.
I got guns and bullets. Yeah, good to fight. Booyah.
That was great.
Boom, boom. You're getting your bonus threat. You're getting more points
Yeah.
because you guys were fighting up
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, 25K. That's huge.
It's a huge bonus for taking on something a little bit more difficult.
We are out.
All right. So that was a good bit of Fortnite.
Oh, yeah, that was
pretty,
fun.
Pretty good stream, I think. So everybody in chat, still, hey, waiting for a code.
Code? Yeah.
So we're working
Is that
through
the number
that.
one? I'm
It
shocked.
sounds like there's some problems maybe with the whisper functionality where we're having trouble getting to people. Stick around. Yes, the stream is ending, but we're not leaving the chat. We're going to stay in there, continue to give out codes, get as many of you as possible. If for some reason you don't get one, tweet at us at Fortnite Game in the next couple of hours. We will get to as many of you as possible because we'd love to have you join and play Fortnite with us.
Yeah, definitely.
So hey, thank you everybody
that.
for watching, and we will see you next time.
All right.
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you.